Well, blessed Monday to you as we come with your daily encouragement. And we have an unusual reading today. I guess if you read the full chapter, I'm going to read the last section of it. And the first part is the details of the sacrifices that Aaron needed to do in order to be in the presence of God. In fact, there are many animals that need to be sacrificed, and one, we are told, needed to be sacrificed because of Aaron's sin. Now, the reason we're bringing this up is because, according to Hebrews, Jesus now has taken the role of the priesthood. And while I am called sometimes a priest, I'm more of a pastor, but I submit to the priesthood of Jesus. We all do. He did not have to make sacrifice for his sin. He knew no sin. He was the lamb without blemish. And because of his sacrifice, we can enter into the presence of God. And so there was a lot of ritual that took place. In fact, a lot of it is still a mystery of what exactly Moses and Aaron were instructed to do in the tabernacle. But the result of it that I'm going to read is that they would be blessed by God in order to bless the people. And we have that through Jesus Christ. We have that because Jesus has taken that role, that priesthood. Read the book of Hebrews sometime. You'll see that Jesus Christ has a greater sacrifice, a greater offering, a greater tabernacle than anything built by human hands. And so in Leviticus 9, verse 22, Aaron lifted up his hands toward the people and blessed them. And he came down after sacrificing the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the offering of well-being. Moses and Aaron entered into the tent of meeting, and then came out and blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. Fire came out from the Lord and consumed the burnt offering and the fat on the altar. And when all God's people saw it, they shouted and fell on their faces. Now, we understand from the Old Testament that the presence of God was something that you just did not mess around with. We'll be hearing a story about that tomorrow, but specifically, the voice of God was so jarring that people couldn't stand it, and they asked Moses, who seemed to be the one who had the skill to listen to God's voice, "Can you listen for us and then interpret for us, because it is so jarring?" And we know that when Moses was on top of Mount Horeb, which we better know as Mount Sinai, its second name means Mount Volcano, it was a dangerous place to be. I know of some people that have swam near volcanoes in Hawaii, and they had to watch where they step because sometimes the water mixes in with the molten rock, and it is easy to get more than just singed from that intense fire. So was the presence of God. And it was such that it caused people to worship. Now, last Friday we heard about the assumption or ascension or rapture of Elijah. And Elisha was called to watch it so that he could get a double portion. And it was difficult. Maybe it was something that was jarring to his ears when he saw that chariot swing low. Or maybe it was the jarring sound and sight of it. We don't know exactly what was so difficult of watching it. And the same is true of the people here when they see the presence of God. It is smoke and fire. In fact, it's a prelude. Uh, uh, how should I say? A prelude to a prequel to what's going to happen on Sunday, where the Spirit of God descends like fiery tongues upon people to go out and evangelize, to be gifted in doing the work of God in this world. You see, this presence is not something that we casually mess with. But in Jesus, we are told, our great high priest, the one that has been assumed not just resurrection, but assumed into heaven, seated at the right hand of the Father, doing his priestly work, is our presence, our ear, our access to God in heaven. Now, we don't know exactly what heaven looks like. There's many people that have speculated about it. We have movies like Heaven is for Real, and they even go back to Paul's time where he claims that he knew someone that went to the third heaven, whatever that means. But what we do know, and what we do have access to, is someone by the name of Jesus Christ. And he is the presence of God for you today and for me. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.